Nearly 4 million people have been forced out of Ukraine as Russia's war just rages on. Before President Biden and other world leaders meet in Brussels tomorrow, the president says Vladimir Putin may resort to the use of chemical weapons with his back against the wall. Plus, the Ukrainian president says many cities have been bombed beyond recognition. He's now calling for direct talks with Russia. And the Kremlin is rejecting U.S. warnings that it may be getting ready for cyber attacks in response to Western sanctions.
Seeing people in Ukraine in such agony, the children, the old folks, and the destruction, it is awful. So who is winning this war? Let's talk with our First Coast News national security expert, Vice Admiral Rick Snyder, retired. He has a long history of service at Mayport and at high levels of the Pentagon. Helicopter pilot, navigator for the USS Carl Vinson, commanding officer for the USS Baton, and an expert on strategic planning to defend North America at the Pentagon and at NORAD. So thank you so much for joining us again. And let's talk weapons. President Biden today has verified the Russians have now fired a hypersonic missile into western Ukraine. It is super fast, beyond Mach 5 times the speed of sound. It's really almost impossible to shoot down. So, Admiral, let me ask you, how could that impact the war?
Well, tactically speaking, a hypersonic is really of no more value than their conventional missiles. And we've seen Russia can certainly impose a lot of devastation with just their conventional missiles. More broadly, though, it is an indicator of Russia's significantly greater military capability. And it's also a reminder that Russia can strike deep into NATO territory.
Because they can fire it from Russia and it can go for miles and miles and miles, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, to that question of who's winning, advantage, in this case, Russia, the hypersonic missile shows advanced military capabilities, as the Admiral's explaining. And now to military size. The Russian military is 4 times the size of Ukraine's military, but as of yet, they haven't taken the capital, Kyiv. Now, though, Russia is bringing in soldiers from Chechnya. And Admiral, what is the impact of that?
Well, some Chechnyan fighters are known as brutal and fierce fighters, and they do have experience in an urban environment, which could prove beneficial to the Russians should this fight go to a street battle inside the cities. But it also could increase the likelihood of atrocities against civilians, and maybe as another indication of Russia's frustration with this war that they brought in fighters from the outside.
So if we're looking at the advantages and disadvantages here, potentially advantage Russia, but also a disadvantage because, as you're saying, Russia can't handle the war on its own. Now, tonight at 11, we're going to find out more from our expert. We're going to ask the Admiral, the longer the war goes on, who has the advantage, Russia or Ukraine? And right now, what does he think? Who's winning the war? That's tonight at 11.
Tonight, we're also getting an inside look into the urgent mission to save Ukrainian children. This video shows children and their parents arriving at St. Jude Children's Hospital in Memphis. St. Jude is the first American hospital to accept cancer patients from Ukraine.